Hi, Lyle Rubin here. I served in Afghanistan in 2010 as a Marine officer, and I've been regretting it ever since. I saw and experienced and took part in a number of actions that I now profoundly regret, and I'll have to live with for the rest of my life. So, my message to all of you National Guards people out there that are being called on to police and suppress the righteous protests in the streets across this country, particularly in Minnesota. Um, it's a tough request, and it's certainly one that I didn't live up to while I was in Afghanistan. But I ask that you reject such orders. It took me a while to realize that the mission that I had been tasked to do in Afghanistan, a mission about so-called democracy, bringing democracy and freedom to the people of Afghanistan, was a lie. And I don't stand alone. I think a lot of the folks that I served with, a lot of whom I'm still friends with to this day, regardless of our political disagreements on a number of issues, we tend to agree that we were given a false mission. And we have all sorts of regrets and resentments concerning that false mission that we were tasked with enforcing. And I believe it's very much the same case here. You were being asked to effectively go to war with the very people that you are supposed to be protecting. These folks are not asking for much. They're asking for their lives. They're asking to survive in this shared world of ours. And it's the job of you as a uniformed service member to give them that life. And except, in this case, you're being asked to refuse that demand on their part. That somehow this request of theirs to stay alive is somehow illegitimate, and it deserves to be suppressed. So I ask all of you to think hard about the orders that you're being given, and hopefully at the end of the day, you will decide to be true heroes and kind of fulfill the kind of heroism that I failed to fulfill while I was in Afghanistan, but a number of my friends and people that I met once I came back from Afghanistan did fulfill as conscientious objectives. So I'll leave it at that, and thanks for listening to me.
My name is Kyle. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, and I have a message for the young men and women in the National Guard. All over the country, governors are mobilizing their National Guard troops to attack civilians who are in the streets fighting for democratic rights and a just society. As a Marine Corps veteran, I understand what drives people who value civil rights to enlist in the country's armed forces. When I joined the Marines, I wanted to make the world a better place with less evil and equal opportunities for everyone. Unfortunately, I quickly learned that the purpose of the U.S. military is not to promote peace and fairness. The ruling class in this country is trying to use you, not to promote freedom, but to hurt those fighting for it. While police are shooting into protests and killing demonstrators in Detroit and Louisville, the National Guard wants your guns pointed at those who are demanding justice. History is rife with examples of the National Guard being used to break up important protests. Just think about the 40,000 deployed in Watts in 1965 and the shootings at Kent State. Between just those two incidents, almost 40 people were killed. The last time the National Guard was mobilized in Minneapolis, 3 innocent people were killed. At the same time, there is a heroic history of troops siding with the oppressed and disenfranchised. In the 1940s, active duty GIs led the Bring the Boys Home movement to stop U.S. aggression against China. In the 1960s and 70s, it was the troops again who led the call to end the Vietnam War. Sailors went on strike during the Port Chicago disaster in 1944. They were fighting for safer working conditions after over 300 sailors were instantaneously incinerated in an explosion. The same protections that some of us unionized workers received today were what those sailors were demanding. It is a tradition for troops to stand up to their officers and do the right thing, just like it is a tradition for workers to stand up to their abusive bosses. Do not fire on civilians. Do not fight people demanding justice. There is a very large veteran community that will support you. There is no reason to trust an officer who tells you to fire on people from your own community. How will you sleep at night after slaughtering your own neighbors in the streets? How will you sleep at night if you stand up for your community and do the right thing? Whatever choice you make, you will have to live with. Do not attack civilians. Do not fire on protesters. Instead, attack the injustice at the root of society and lay down your weapons.
Hi, I'm Eric. I'm a veteran of the Marine Corps. Did a tour in Afghanistan almost 10 years ago. I just have a quick message for the National Guardsmen out there and any other service members who are being called up to deal with recent protests. Just want to have all of you remember why you signed up. I got to imagine you didn't sign up because you were itching to shoot unarmed civilians or people of your own community, people in your own country. I imagine even if you signed up because you needed to pay for college or you needed a job, any damn reason, there's still a part of you that signed up because you were willing to protect your country, even if it was just a little bit of you. So I need you to remember that today. Remember what you trained for was not to walk into communities of your friends and family and do violence upon them. This is not what you signed up for, not what I signed up for. I hope it's not what anyone signed up for. So keep that in mind. Remember why you put on the uniform. Remember why you put up with all the shit of being in the military. At least part of that is because you don't want your country fucked up. So don't fuck it up. Don't shoot anyone. That's all I gotta say. Thanks.
My name is Fred Mitchell-Link, and I'm a veteran of the United States Marine Corps. I went to Iraq in 2006, and I have a message to those members of the military being deployed to disband protests around the nation. I understand why so many young people join the military. It sells the idea that you will be part of something greater than yourself, that you will have a found family, that you will make a difference in the world. But these ideas are crafted by some of the best advertising agencies money can buy, and it boils down to just that. Advertising. They use your love of democracy to bolster corporate profits. They use your desire to make positive change to ensure American dominance around the world. They use your humanity to destroy the environment. And now they want to use your ideals to quell protests about the murder of George Floyd. History is rife with examples of the folks in the same situation you are standing in and disobeying illegal orders. You have a moral duty to disobey orders that are illegal. And you do not want to be the force that stops this movement for justice. They used my willingness to make the world a better place to make it a much worse one for the people of Iraq. And I have the scars, both mental and physical, to carry for the rest of my life. But those scars pale in comparison to those that I gave when I was ordered to destroy a civilization in the Middle East. These protesters are on the right side of history. The choice is yours, which side you are on. Will you be used by the state to maintain the status quo where cops can kill people of color indiscriminately, or will you be on the side of the people standing up to stop it? The choice is yours, and there are thousands of veterans who are here to support you should you make the right choice. Stand on the right side of history. Stand with the ideals that led you to join the military. Make the world a better place. You have a moral obligation to ensure that the protesters can stay on the streets, make their demands, and not leave the streets until those demands are met. Thank you.